Hello, what's up everybody? Today I'm going to be looking at Khan Academy. It's going to be writing clean code and introducing arrays, which is another it's another thing of it's just another topic of about code. And yeah, I did the writing clean code already, so I'm just going to play the videos and do the practice, and that's it. You guys can actually watch those on Khan Academy by yourselves, because I have put a link in the description of this video that if you want to learn code, or maybe if you want to code your own game or program, website, whatever it is, just click that link and go through the list. I will actually open that same link up, so I'm going to paste it in there. Oh wait, nope, that's the chat, I forgot. Because yeah, I think I have it, yep, I have it bookmarked right here. So, computer programming. I would say go to the JS and drawing an animation first, and then if you didn't get enough out of it, then just do HTML. But I don't. I'm not saying after you do this you have to do this. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's optional to do the HTML and CSS, and it's optional to do the SQL. But if you want to do JavaScript, which is up here, Intro to JS, drawing and animation, and then there's an advanced JS, which is games and visualizations. Uh, and then there's a natural simulations. There's making web pages interactive, and then there's making web pages interactive with jQuery, which I don't know what that is, so I'm not gonna say you can do this. I mean, you can test, but I don't I don't know. But then meet the professional. I think it's just a video or something. I don't know what this is, but yeah, and then create a new program. There's new JavaScript, new web page, or new SQL script. And then, oh wait, this is actually to meet the professional. What can you do with a career in computing? Um, I actually may just put this video up right now. So I'm going to mute my mic. I'm going to show you this video and see if it can spark your interest with coding.
You know what's cool about computer science and computer programming? Well, besides everything, there are tons of interesting jobs and fields that use computing knowledge, and those numbers are growing every day. In this series, we interviewed a bunch of people that work with their computer knowledge for a living to find out what they do, how they learn, and what their advice is for people new to the field. You could read about Sarah Northway, who's an indie game developer and world traveler, Jan Daphine, who researches machine learning and plays bass guitar, Brenda Jin, who creates tablet prototypes for Macy's and bikes all around the hills of San Francisco, Tom Haynen, who creates medical mobile apps and is learning to be a pilot on the weekends, Marcos Ojeda, a Khan Academy designer, developer, and dog owner, and a bunch more. So go ahead, meet some professionals, and if you're not a computing professional yet, think about it. It could be a whole lot of fun.
Okay, so that was Meet the Professional. Um, Now it says computer programming, Meet the Professional, Meet the Professional. So there's a lot of documents right here about all the professionals, like each one. I'm not going to go through it. The only one that, the ones that make my that like that I'm interested in is, let me check. It's the um, uh, the game maker Sarah Northway, and then the software engineer and YouTuber, because I'm a YouTuber. Like right now, I'm just YouTubing, and it's if it I think it's a she, yeah. Um, and then software engineer, I not going to do software engineer. I'm going to do software testing. If that ever changes, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, let's get back to readable code. Okay, so I'm gonna go through these videos, and then I'll let you do the writing clean code practice thing. Well, I'll do it by myself, but if you guys want to, you can just watch these two videos right here. Well, actually, you can just look at my screen with the two videos, and then you can do the writing clean code by yourself. But yeah, I'm gonna mute my mic.
Today I want to talk about making your code easier to read. First, let's talk about what it means to make a human language easier to read. The languages that we speak every day have lots of rules, but they also have lots of flexibility, especially when we write them down. Like, if I'm being really lazy one day, I could write this. Now, you can read that sentence and eventually figure it out, but you have to figure out where the periods go, and it takes time. Now, what would happen if we clean that up a bit? Ta-da! Okay, so you agree that that's a lot easier to understand, right? Now, imagine if everybody wrote like this first sentence and we constantly had to read everything multiple times just to figure out how it flowed. It'd be really painful, right? It's the same thing with programming languages. They have a lot of rules and they're more strict than human languages, but they can also be written in confusing ways. For example, this code here is valid code and it runs and it's a cool program, but man, it's really hard to read as a human. So what would you do to make it easier to read? A few things. The first thing we'd do is we'd move every statement onto its own line, like this. Now that makes it a little easier to read, but there's still a lot more we can do. So the next thing we want to do is indent the code properly. Now, in human languages like English, we indent to help us understand the structure of writing, like when we indent the first sentence of a paragraph or indent a quote. It's the same thing with code. We indent in order to show the structure of the code. Let me see. Okay, so let's go through this and see how indentation helps us understand the structure. When we talk about structure, we mean functions and for and ifs. So here inside this function, you can see that we indent the first statement inside this function because we want to show that it's inside this function. It's like a child of this function. It's only going to be called if this function's called. All right? And then we have this for loop, and everything that's inside in for loop is indented twice because we're trying to show that this is all inside the for loop. It's all children of the for loop. It's only going to be executed when we go through the for loop. And then finally, inside the if, we indent things 3 times because we're trying to show that they're child of the if blocks, and they're only going to be executed if this if condition is true. So by using indentation, we can really understand the structure of the program better. Now the cool thing is that your editor will help you with indentation, right? So if I go and put this on this line, and then I just press enter, you see how it just automatically goes and is indented one thing, just like we wanted. So as long as the editor is working correctly, you should actually have correctly indented code. So that's pretty cool. All right, so our program looks pretty good now, but there's still more we can do to improve readability. And I'll give you a hint by showing this English sentence before and after. See these 2 sentences? They're really similar. The only thing that's different is that we added some white space in between punctuation and letters. And that little bit of white space actually made it a lot more readable. So, once again, it's the same thing with our code. If we just add white space at good points, our code becomes more readable. So here it is with white space. All right, so we added space in between all our function arguments. We added space on either side of the equal sign when we're assigning variables to things. And we added space around operators like less than and greater than and times. And we also added space before curly brackets. And that's it. So now when you look at our code, I hope you agree it's quite beautiful, and it's really much easier to understand, and you don't have to read through it quite as many times, right? And hey, what I've learned is that cleaning code is actually a lot more fun and easier than cleaning the room, and it doesn't get dirty again. So it's pretty cool, and you should try it out with your programs.
Okay, so that video was talking about how you can use spaces and do other stuff. Now this one, clarifying with comments. There's going to be two types of comments. There's going to be one with a star, which is above the 8 if you're on the keyboard, and then a slash, which is under the question mark, if you're still on the computer. But yeah. Yeah, if you're on a tablet, I don't know, just try and find your slash key and then your star key. But they're going to rearrange on the, they're going to rearrange one, after, like one after the next. And if you put your functions, like if you put your code inside like the full code, like full program in bars, I'm gonna do one right now, even though this is just a video. Like I think it's slash star first. Yep, and then everything turns green, and then star slash, which it just gets rid of everything. We don't want it to do that. So we want this to stay, because it disappears because it thinks this is actually a comment. And then there's another type of comment where it's just two of the slashes and then just whatever stuff you want to type. It lets the reader, like it lets the person that's reading the code and you help to understand what you actually done. But that's just the gist of it. I'm gonna just play the video. And, yeah.
When we write code, we're writing in a language that a computer can understand. Now,
Now,
fellow programmers can also understand that language,
I forgot
but
that.
it's not our native language. And honestly, some code just looks weird.
Let's start that up again. Okay, I'm gonna mute my mic right now. Let's do it.
When we write code, we're writing in a language that a computer can understand. Now, fellow programmers can also understand that language, but it's not our native language. And honestly, some code just looks weird. And sometimes you'll look at code and you'll think, what? And you wish that you had the original code creator there to explain it to you. Well, luckily, that's where comments come in. A comment is just a bit of text in our program that the computer completely ignores and is just there for other humans to look at, like you and me. You are human, right? In JavaScript, we write a single line comment by starting a line with 2 slashes. And everything that comes after will be considered a comment until there's a new line, right? And we can write anything in whatever language we want. And we can have a little comment party here, right? Keep going. So that's cool, but if our comment gets really long, you might want to actually do what's called a multi-line comment. So to do that, we start off with a slash and a star. And, maybe I'll write a poem here. So roses are red. Next line, violets are blue. Comments are cool. And so are you. Very nice. Notice how our comments are both colored green. That's good. That's a sign that the program knows it's a comment. It colors it green. But notice how everything else is green too. That means that we've managed to turn our entire program into a comment, which is bad because we want our program to be code. And we also get an error here that says unclosed comment. So all these signs mean that, I started multi-line comment and I didn't finish it. No problem. Just do a star and a slash. That'll finish the comment and everything will be beautiful again. All right, so back to the point. Comments are not just for me to write ridiculous things or amazing poetry. They're a way for us to describe our code to other humans because we want them to understand it as well as we did. So, for example, let's look at a cool program. This is a bouncing ball program, right? And it's a pretty cool program, and it's the kind of program that I'd really like to modify and spin off and do my own thing with, because there's a lot of things I can imagine doing with this bouncing ball, right? Maybe turning into a bouncing penguin. But when I look at the code, I don't quite understand it. There's a lot of math going on, and I'm not sure what it's calculating and where it's getting these formulas from. So if I wanted to understand it, I'd have to go through line by line and tinker things and try and figure it out. Now, what would happen if it was written with comments? Ta-da! Magic. So now we have the same program with comments. So you can see how the program starts off with this general comment at the top that describes the purpose of the program. And then throughout the program, there's these single line comments that describe things like what these variables are. Like the initial variables are the time and the height. And then we've got 3 lines of comments about this formula here because it's really important because this is what determines the y position of the ball. And here we can see it's actually calculating this parabola based on velocity and acceleration. So now that I see this comment, it's actually really easy for me to change this code here and say, oh, okay, well, what happens if we gave the ball higher initial velocity? Oh, well, it's going to go a lot higher. Awesome. So you can see that as soon as I saw comments in the code, I was able to understand the program much faster and modify it much more easily. So they're cool, right? Now let's just go over what the nice parts about comments are and why you should be doing them in your code. All right, so first of all, if you put comments in your code, you'll help other people learn from your code. And that's something that we're really into here at Khan Academy, right? Second of all, if you put comments in your code, you make it easier for other people to fix bugs in your code or add new features. And that's something you probably want too, right? If somebody sees something in your program, they oh, it'd be really cool if it did this. And if they actually understood your program, they can actually add that and say like, hey, I took your program and I added it. And then you can, have a better program because of that. So that's really cool. But you don't just have to have comments when you're working with other people, even when you're working with yourself, because you're a human too. So if you write comments in your code, you'll make it much easier for yourself to understand your own code. And you might think to yourself right now that, oh, you understand your code perfectly, but trust me, just wait a month, wait a year, wait 15 years. You're going to look at your code and you're going to think, what did I do? And you're going to wish that you wrote comments in your code. So just comment in your code now, and it'll help you and it'll help everybody else. So hopefully that's convinced you to comment. And now you might be asking like, okay, when should I comment? Where should I put comments in my code? What line should I comment? So that's a really good question. And there's no right or wrong answer. What I would do is start off at the beginning of the program and do this general description of the program here, right? And then I would go through the program and pretend that I was explaining it to someone, and if I got to a line that wasn't obvious, I might add a comment there to try and explain it more. So you don't have to comment every line in this program. You just comment the things that you think might not be obvious, right? And everyone will be a lot happier because of that. So go forth, comment.
Okay, so we just ended that video. Now let's do practice to do 9 problems, so you can do this by yourself. I'm just going to go through it. So for this one, which of these code snippets is most readable according to the JavaScript coding style conventions that we recommend here? So which is the most cleaner? The cleanest one is C. Is that correct? Yep, it's correct. Now, which of these snippets is that we recommend? So writing clean code for var I equals 0, blah blah. That's not very clean. That's not very clean. That just takes up a little space. This takes up a lot of space. So like the most space you could take up is that one. So, and it would be this. It would be this one because of that long space. Um, that's how I would know. And then look at this. So this is a little hard, but I think it's A because there's a space after the ellipse, like after everything, except for the parenthesis and like it's like a sentence like the comma and then and but or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then oh wait, no, no wait, no, it's not that. Oh, I forgot that the ellipse doesn't have that space because it needs to see if it's going somewhere like that. So that's the right answer. Okay. Um, and this one, it's definitely not this one, and not this one, but it's the one that's spaced out a little more. Um, so this one, it's not this because it's like the first line of code is jumbled together. The this one, the those are jumbled. The sides are jumbled, but A is the true answer. Um, variable A equals 10, B equals 200, through C equals 300, and then an ellipse using those values. So it doesn't matter this like of how it's written. It just, I mean, it is bad. It matters that like how it's written, but it's doesn't like truly matter on that. It matters if the variables are used like this one sy. There's ss sx sa, but no sy, so it's not c. There's sun size, sun x, sun y. That looks good. There's B, C, and AA. Up to this one or this one. Wait, look at this. Which of the code snippets are the most readable and adheres to JavaScript naming conventions? I would say that BCAA. Nope, it's the sun size one. So this one's talking about comments. It should be this way. It shouldn't be this way. It shouldn't be this way because the text has to come after it and before it ends. So we got that, and then this is on the other one. So makes Superman go wee. It doesn't make sense. So no. Changes X. It's simple, but it's not fully simplified. It's this one. It increases X position by the value of speed. That's like the That's like an explanation of what it's doing, capping at 100. Let's hope this is correct. Okay. The summary is 7 out of 9 for me, but I try to redo it to get more energy points and like more correct. So now we're going into the race. I only did the first two. That's the only ones I did. I didn't do looping. I didn't do the favorite animals. I didn't do modifying, challenge, review, or project. We're definitely gonna do the project. We can't skip the projects. Like it's like the things that you learn by yourself. Um, But yeah, I'm gonna mute my mic, watch this video.
You already learned about using variables to store numbers or strings. Now we're going to learn about something called arrays, which let us store multiple items in just one variable. As you'll see, arrays let us do all kinds of useful things. Okay, let's review variables, all right? So we have var my friend equals Sophia. So a variable is just a way of storing a value, like Sophia, and giving it a label so our program has an easy way to refer to it later. We can think of it like a drawer with a my friend label on the outside and Sophia on the inside. So whenever we look inside it, we find Sophia. Now sometimes we want to hold multiple values in a single variable. And we can't just do it like this because we'll get a syntax error and our program will freak out and all that stuff. So we have a specific way that we do that, and that's using arrays. So we could say my friends equals, and then we have to do a square bracket, and then inside, that's where we can put all the values. So we say Sophia, and we have John, and we have Leaf. All right, so those are my 3 friends, maybe in order of how much I like them, but don't tell them that. Okay, so now our variable holds 3 values, not just one. And we can imagine it's like a chest of drawers, and we put this label my friends on the whole chest, and we can just open the right drawer to find the value we're looking for, right? And you imagine with a chest of drawers, if you want to know what's inside, the first drawer, you would just open it up and look inside. So how do we do that with an array? Well, we can just type the name of the array, and then the brackets again. Ooh, I misspelled it. The brackets, and then the number of whatever it is in the array, right? So maybe it'd be 1, okay? So let's actually try this out by using the text command and showing Sophia on the canvas. So we say my friends, ooh, friend is a hard word to spell, huh? So my friends 1, and then we put it here, oh, and then let's put a little fill. Oh, okay, so we see John. Why do we see John? We said 1 for the element index, right? The 1 right here. Well, that's because arrays start at 0, not 1. And it'll definitely seem weird at first, but you'll get used to it. So if we put 0, then we see Sophia, all right? And then if we want to show the next element, then we use 1, all right? So, and then if we want to do the final element, the third element, then we use 2. So you just think to yourself, okay, which one do I want to retrieve? Oh, let's spread these out. And where is it located? And you just subtract 1. So the first one is 0, the second one is 1, the third one is 2, etc., etc.
Okay, real quick, I forgot to tell you guys this, but if you haven't already, so if it's your first time here, go watch the most previous Khan Academy video, which I believe it's let me find it. Sorry, I just had to look. Where's my channel? So here's my channel. It's writing clean code and introducing arrays, and then that's my live. So if we go down here, my first one was learning about texts and string for coding, which it shows me right here. But that's the first one. Go check it out, and then we do functions, then what if statements. Well, actually, what if statements part 2 is actually the full what if statement thing, because what if statements part 1 was a wreck because I think I left, but I'm not sure. I mean, it's a 9-minute, 26-second live stream, but there's debugging programs and looping in Khan Academy, which is the one I did yesterday. Now we're doing writing clean code and introducing arrays. So this one is the one. So if you want to learn coding, then click this link and sign up to Khan Academy. You actually can just use Khan Academy for anything, like any any topic that you like, math, geometry, like there's a lot of there's like a lot of things that I can just show you on here. Like for instance, there's courses that go in the Khan Academy, but I'm not going to show you yet. You can figure that out for yourself. Let me mute my mic, and yeah.
What happens if I forgot and I try to access Leaf this way? Well, then we say my friend's 3, and we'll just get nothing. That's because there's nothing there, right? When it says 3, it looks for the 4th element, and there's no 4th element, so there's just nothing. And that's something that can happen a lot when you're using arrays, so just look out for that. And the same thing if I tried to access 100, because I don't have 100 friends. I only have 3, so that we get nothing. All right, so let's get rid of those. Now let's say we want to keep track of how many friends we have, because I'm really proud and I have 3 friends and I want to let everybody know. So I'm going to go and declare this to the world. So I have num friends. Woo, all right. Okay, so I have 3 friends. Yay! Oh, that's not very many. Okay, so maybe Winston feels bad for me and says he'll be my friend. And he says I can add him to the array. And I was like, okay, cool, thanks, Winston. So I add Winston. Oh, but it still says I have 3 friends. Right, because I have to go and update this variable here. That means every time that I add something to this array, I have to update this variable. And that could get really annoying, especially if all of you guys watching this decide you'll be my friend. And then, I'm updating this thousands of times and having to update this every time. So here's the thing. We so often want to know how long our array is that there's a special way to do that. So the array will keep track of how long it is using a property called length. And to use it, we just say myFriends.length, and then we'll get back the length. See, now it says 4, and I can delete this variable. I don't need it anymore. And this property will update whenever we add. So maybe Oh No's guy says he'll be my friend, and I'm like, okay, you're kind of mean, but okay, you'll be my friend. And we can keep adding, and it'll keep updating. So that's really cool because it's a lot less work to keep track of how long our array is. All right, so pretty much whenever we want to store a list of values like this, we'll use an array. And so keep watching to find out all the really cool things that we can use them for.
So all she did was just explain the arrays and how to use them. Gave an example with her friends Sophia, John, Leaf, Winston, and the Nose guy. So it's the variable. So it's the text. So this is like one of the key things. It's I have plus and then my friend's length. Well, my friend's dot length, and then plus, and then the friend's 10, 150. Well, challenge favorite fruits. Let's look at that. So I'm gonna I'm not gonna show you quickly. I'm going to just right here. Yeah. Okay. So I pretty much did what they did, but I put number 1, number 2, number 3 because it says top 3 favorite foods. There's 3 steps. There's the var, creating a variable, and then my food text, and then getting text. Var that it shows what you need to type into your keyboard, in through your keyboard, and yeah. I'm not actually going to show that challenge because I already did it, and if you guys want to do that challenge, then be my guest. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes, and then I'll go to looping through arrays, but first I will be back in a minute, so yeah. Okay, guys, I'm back. And this it's probably not enough time to do this, but you can always just pause this live stream and keep doing it until you're done, and then unpause it and listen to this next looping with arrays video. And yeah, so if you want to pause, do it right now. Otherwise, I'm gonna play it. I'm also gonna need
We're
my
back
mic.
with the program that prints out my array of friends, but there's something that really annoys me about it. Every time I add a new friend to the array, I have to add a new text command down here. So let's say I add Winston. Well, he doesn't automatically show up. If I want him to show up, I have to go and say text my friends 3 and then change the Y position, and then I see Winston. Okay. So that's way too much work. I just want so that every time I add someone else to the array, it does the text command automatically. Well, do you remember when we learned loops? Loops were a great way to repeat the same bit of code many times in a row, like if we wanted to have a bunch of trees in a row or a bunch of balloons. Well, as it turns out, loops are also a great way to run a bit of code on each element in an array. In fact, you'll use a loop almost every time you use an array. They work really well together. So let's use a loop to display my friends' names instead of having all these text commands to show you what I mean. So we'll start with the 3 questions we always ask ourselves when we're making a loop. First, what do I want to repeat? Well, look up here, what's repeated? The text command. What do I want to change each time? Well, we just look and see what's different. So the Y position and the current index, right? So, the friend num and the Y position. And how long should we repeat? Well, we keep going until there are no more friends. Okay, so now we know what we want, and we can make our loop. We start off with a counter variable to keep track of where we are in the loop. So we'll say var friend num equals 0. And we're going to start with 0 because remember that 0 is the first element in the array, not 1. Then we have our while loop. So we'll say while friend num, and we'll say less than my friends.length. So we're going to compare the current counter variable to the total number of things in the array. And inside the loop, that's where we use our text command. So we say text my friends, and then here, instead of a number, we're going to put friend num, because friend num represents the current number. And then we'll just put 1 position for now. Okay, so this is giving us the little infinite loop error because we haven't actually changed anything about friend num. Remember, we need to increment friend num each time, otherwise the loop will go on forever because that condition's always true. Okay, so I see something happen. Let me comment out the old code so I can really see what's happened. So what we have is we've showed all the names, but they're all on top of each other. So we need to change our Y position. So let's just say friend num times 30. Okay, that's good, but Sophia's off the screen, and Sophia's not going to be very happy if she finds that out. So let's just add 30 to that. So now they're all offset by 30. Beautiful. So now you see we have a loop displaying our array. And that means if we add more people, like Oh No's guy, or maybe even Sal, if I just add him to the array, then Sal will be my friend. Awesome. Now he's my buddy. And you see that it just automatically shows the new friends because it's always going through the whole array. So we can delete our old code. We don't need that anymore. And let's just go through this code here and review what it does. So we start off with friend num equal to 0. We check to see if friend num is less than the current length, right? So you imagine 0 is less than 6. That's true. So then we go inside here and we say text my friend's friend num. So that'll be my friend 0 the first time. And then 30 plus 0 times 30. So it displays Sophia at 10 and 30. So that's what it does. And then friend num plus plus, so then it becomes 1. And then it goes back around and says, okay, is 1 less than my friends at length? Yeah, it is. And it keeps going. And then finally, we get to Sal. Remember, Sal is actually the 6th element in the array, but he's index 5, right? Since we start at 0. So is 5 less than 6? Yes. So it displays my friends 5. And then it becomes 6. And we say, oh, is 6 less than 6? No, it's equal, right? So this will be false. So it will never display the 6th element, which is good because there is nothing in index 6, right? There's a 6th element but nothing at index 6. It can be really confusing, the fact that it's 0 and 1 and doing all that, but you'll get the hang of it. All right, so that's our loop. Now, if you want to, you can actually use a for loop as well, if you prefer for loops. So for a for loop, we'll just say for, and then var friend num equals 0, and then we have our condition, friend num is less than my friend's dot length, and then our increment, friend num plus plus, and then inside the for loop, we can just put just this line of code here. And I'll just change the x so that you can see it does exactly the same thing, right? So it's up to you which one you use, but the point is to use a loop with your arrays because it will make you so powerful.
Okay, so we just watched a video. We're gonna do the challenge. If you want to do it by yourself, you can. But if you're watching the recording of this, then that's great because you can pause it, and you can. Oh yeah, I forgot. You can also pause the live stream too. So if you want to follow with me, then open this up in like a new tab or wherever. But if you're doing this from the Khan Academy app, then you'll have to go on the browser on your phone. Like if you're watching this on your phone, then if you have a computer, you can do this. If you don't, then I'm sorry. That well, if you have any like keyboard, like if you have any keyboards that can hook up to your like phone or whatever, like has like a wire that can hook up to the whatever device it is, you could still use it. But you'll have to use a touch screen instead of a mouse. But that's okay. Okay, so challenge for favorite. I I I was just about to say Fab. I don't know. Just never mind. So you're going to. Oh wait. I thought that I was gonna say farm animals, because all I see is F and then animals. So yeah. You are going to display your top 3 favorite animals. To get started, make an array of them. Hint, the animal names are strings, so don't forget to write them between quotation marks. Okay, so var, then this is where I'm going to put my value. So Fab Animals, right? Fab Anime. Anime. What? No, not anime. Favorite. Fab Animal. So let's equals and then brackets, and then a string. Well, string, which is like text. So top 3. Oh wait, I don't think I'm supposed to write top 3, blah blah. I think I'm just gonna have to write the names of the animals. So, let me see, I'm just gonna. So, okay. Okay. I'm just gonna have to think of 3 animals. I mean, do have a little weird addiction of watching chickens lay eggs. It's weird because I sometimes watch videos I keep on rewatching a video of an Indonesian man. I mean not man. Boy. But I'm not. Just never mind. Just yeah. Just I don't know. Okay, so I'm just gonna say chicken. And then oh wait, actually that, and then so okay, I forgot to do this. So chicken. Oh, okay, chicken. There's an unnecessary quote. So show me where first, second line. That second line doesn't even need a semicolon. Just a space. Okay, so we have chicken. If you guys can type in the comments below. I'm still gonna do this live stream. It's like 6:56 and it's almost 7 o'clock. It's probably gonna be another hour. Um, I don't think it'll take an hour. I'll try to take like uh, 30 minutes or more, like 40, maybe 50. I don't know. Um, but yeah, however long it takes, I'm going to just go to the next lesson of objects. We'll probably do that for another live stream, but let's just finish this, and then we'll go on to objects. It's probably going to be objects and then another thing, because objects might be like a longer lesson. So yeah, so let's just see. So just gonna type random stuff. So snake um and golden eagle. And brackets. Okay, getting closer. Great things are ahead. Okay, now we have to use that same value that I put. That's the orange. The orange boxes is Fab Animal. So it's var Fab Animal, and then equals something, and then while. Oh wait, we're gonna use a while statement. That's good. For some reason, I thought I said wild statement. Like that's like while statement. That just sounds weird, but I'll go with it. Okay. Line 2. Var Fab Animal equals and then something. So this is only step 2 out of 3. So bar. Wait a minute. Actually, no, I don't think we'll need another thing. Let's see. So in this step, you'll use a while loop to display each animals on the screen using the text command. Make a counter variable to keep the track of the name that you're drawing, and use it to calculate a different Y position each time so that the names are spaced out in the list. Be careful with the condition of your while tip. Make sure you increment the value properly, otherwise your program will get stuck in an infinite loop. So let's while and then Fab Animal is that to 100, I guess, and then a bracket symbol, which is on your keyboard. It's like there's 2 sets of brackets. There's one that's pointing to the left, one that's pointing to the right, um, and they're both in between P and the enter key if you're looking on it on the computer. If you don't know which ones those are. Okay, so fill, boom. It's gonna be black actually. 0, 0, 0, 0. So now that, and then there's going to be a text. So text, and then the message. I think the pink. I'm not. Wait. The pink may be fabanimal.length. Wait. Let's look back at our other video. Let's just speed it to the end. See what the results. So it's friend num. Okay. So var friend num is 0. Okay. That's a little weird. Well, guess I'm gonna have to use another variable. So that was my mistake on my part. Take a moment to fix any syntax errors. So var fab fab animal num equals 0, semicolon, unmatched, bracket. Let's get the bracket matched. Show me where. I unmatched the bracket, right? Am I missing a semicolon? Looks like you're missing a semicolon there. Thought you were gonna type that, but you typed that. Unmatched bracket. Okay. So let's just get text out of it. Unnecessary semicolon, show me where. And boom. Way to go, moving forward. Wait, step. What? Oh wait, it moved it back a step. So next step, var that while for Fab Animal num is 0. So was that number? Yep, that number was there. Okay. So so let's go to text Fab Animal num. Dot length, and then brackets, comma, 100, comma, 20, and this, what is this? What are you displaying with the text command? Doesn't look like that, like we were expecting. You make sure you display a single array element using array index notation, like the hint code. Was I supposed to just do Fab? I think the num was supposed to be right here. Num. Okay. What is this? Missing a semicolon where? Here? You know, guy. It's not winning today. Okay, so chicken snake. So think 2, 3. Okay, so I think this was supposed to be the 1, 2, 3. Wait, let me see. Put values you put in in 2 blanks of the same color. That must be exactly the same. So empty blanks. Okay. So text Fab Animal num length. So what are you displaying with the text command? Doesn't look like what we were expecting. Make sure you display just a single array element using the array index notation. I'm a little confused, fuzzled, confused about. So documentation. Let me show you. So documentation is this is JavaScript stuff, debugging, date and time, trigonometry, math, keyboard, mouse, environment, transform, text, colors, complex shapes, and shapes. So I haven't used complex shapes yet. So the ones that I use are shapes, colors, text, not transform, no. Environment, yes. Mouse, a little bit. Key, no. Math, let me see. Um, I did not use that yet. Trigonometry, no. I haven't learned trigonometry yet. And then the date and time I haven't done. I have done only the print in data debugging thing, but I haven't used Java yet. So yeah. Let's see. So okay. I don't know. Gonna just do that. I think I should wait. Let's look at looping through arrays again. Zip to the end. So we have a variable, we have a while, my friends, which is that variable, then friend num, comma, 10, comma, 30 plus 30. No. Okay. Huh. Let's see. So Fab Animal, and then Fab Animal num. There's no dot length, so cool. Next step. Your loop doesn't seem right. The loop should be running until the counter variable goes past. So the number hasn't changed. So I'm gonna do that times Fab Animal num. Add. So the loop should keep running until the counter variable goes past the length of the array. So make sure your condition checks if the counter variable is smaller than your array dot length. Well, there is no array dot length. Let's look back. I'm just trying to look back through this, but you know what?
We're
I'm
back
gonna
with the program that prints
press
out my array of
spin
friends.
off,
But
and then I'm gonna. So that's the spin off of that. So that's the. Okay, I'm gonna just go there, like go there. Go back to looping with arrays video and just look through the end. So friend num plus plus. So now it should say fave animal animal num plus plus right? Should say that. Your loop condition doesn't seem right. This loop should keep running till the counter variable goes past the length of the array. So 74 I think should change to myfriend.num, or not myfriend.num, faveanimal.num. Wait, fave animal num dot length. If it seems you're trying to access the link property of the wrong variable. You only arrays have length property. So there's no length properties at all. Times 1. Well, times 2, 3. Times whatever number. Let's just see. Your loop condition. Okay, so use it to calculate different y position each time. So y. Message x and y. So y has to be friend and not friend animal. Fave animal num dot length. So times 30. Plus 30. The plus equals 34, right? Okay, so you guys can get to that on your own time. I'm just thinking of doing the modified erase, but you know what? No, I'm not gonna give up on this one project because it's taking like too long. So let's go back to looping through arrays. So var friend num 0 friend num times 30 30 plus friend num times 30. So so it'll be times 30, if I can get to 30, and 30 plus. Wait, what is this? Okay, so wow, such fluffy animals. If so, make sure your condition checks with the if the counter variable is smaller than your array dot length. Array dot length. Well, friend animal dot length. It seems that I can put a dot length at all in that. Times. Let's just go on to the next part, and then I will get back to that. So modifying arrays. I think I saw this. I haven't seen this one now. I haven't seen that.
So far, we've seen how to create an array and access it. Just like other variables, however, one of the really cool things about arrays is the way we can change them dynamically while a program is running. Okay, let me just show you what I mean by this. So here we have this program that displays Hopper holding some balloons. Super cute. And so how it works is that we have this x positions array that has two numbers in it that say where we want the balloons at. And then down here we have this loop, and this loop goes through every element in that array, and for each of them it draws a line from the x down to Hopper's hand, and then draws an ellipse at the x that's 30 by 40 pixels, and that's our balloon. Okay, cool. So now that we see how it works, we know that if we want to have another balloon show up, we could just add a number to this array, right? Like 300. Beautiful. Now we've got 3 balloons for Happy Hopper. But let's say we wanted to give a user that doesn't know how to code the ability to add new balloons. So we wanted to give the program to a user and say, hey, you can click wherever you want the balloon and it'll show up. Wouldn't that be cool? I think so. So how should we do this? All right, So we want our program to be changing over time, right? Every time the user clicks, a balloon is going to show up there. So let's start off by moving everything into a draw function so that it's easy to change over time. So we'll just move this down here and indent this here. Okay, great. So now we want to check and see, is the user pressing the mouse right now? Well, we can do that with our if. So if mouse is pressed, and then we're going to do something. So what are we going to do? If the mouse is pressed, then we want to somehow add a number to this array. And let's make this just 2 elements again. Okay, so we want to add a number to this array somehow. Well, I'll show you one way that we could do this. So we can say x positions bracket 2 equals mouse x. All right, and let me just show you that this works. I clicked, and ta-da, I got a balloon. So what did this do? This said, x positions 2 said, find this array and find the element in the 2 spot. And remember, that's the third element because our arrays are 0-based. And if you look, there's no third element, right? There's nothing in that spot. So it says find that and then put mouse x in it. Well, since there was nothing there, then it goes from being nothing to being mouse x. And so now our array is 3 items long, and this for loop down here, when it goes through it, it'll end up drawing that third balloon. So that's pretty cool, and let me just click some more to show you how this works. So you see every time I click, it keeps on drawing the third balloon wherever I clicked my mouse. And that's because we're constantly overwriting the 2 spot, the thing with this 2 index, we're constantly overwriting that with the current mouse x, right? So we're only ever going to have 3 balloons because we've got this one in the 0 spot, this one in the 1 spot, and we're constantly changing the 2 spot. Okay? So that's cool, but what we really want is we want to let the user make tons of balloons, right? So every time the user clicks, there's a new balloon. So that means that we need to be constantly incrementing the index of the array element that we're storing it in, right? So we don't want it to be 2 every time. We want it to be 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then 5 and then 6, etc. So we could do this by having a little counter variable. So we say new ind equals 2. That's what it'll start off with. And then here we'll say new ind instead of 2. And then what we really want to do is say new ind plus plus. So every time we add 1 to this. So it'll start off as 2. Then it'll become 3, and then become 4. So every time they press, it'll become more. So let's try this. Dun-da-da! Tons of balloons, balloon party, woo! So that's cool, right? But that's not the best way of doing this. Because it turns out adding items to an array is something we want to do a lot. So we have a much easier way of doing it than this. So let me just delete the stuff we did. All right, so we don't need that, and we don't need that anymore. I'll just comment that out. Okay, so how we do it is we say x positions dot push and then mouse x. So what we're doing here is we're calling this method on the x positions array. So we're calling like a command on the array. We're telling the array, hey, push this new value, which is mouse x, push it onto the end of your array. So every time this gets called, so every time they press the mouse, it's going to look at the mouse x and it's going to push it onto the end of the array so that the array should get bigger and bigger and bigger. So let's restart and try this. Ta-da! It worked! And it's way less code than what we had before. All right? So most of the time you're going to want to use push if you're going to add stuff to your array like this. And it's pretty neat because then you can just have these arrays that get bigger and bigger and bigger during the program, like when you have an animation or when you have users doing stuff, and then you can do a lot more. So now you've seen 90% of what you'll probably use arrays for and the ways you'll use them. But there's also a lot more that you can do with arrays. So if you have questions, just, ask them in the discussion. But make sure that you master these basics first.
Okay, so you watched that video. I'm not sure, but I've seen this video. Like pretty sure I've like looked through some of the videos, but see this look at that. It just does that. So now there's infinite balloons. Like Hopper's just gonna fly to the moon now. Okay, so challenge constellation maker. You can do this by yourself. I'm gonna do it right now. You can follow whatever I do. Um, but if I can't figure something out, then I'll tell you guys, and then you guys can figure out what's wrong with it or not. So add a star. This program displays an array of stars based on two rays. One in the x positions, one in the y. Add another star by adding new number to each array. So var x positions, that var y positions 200. So 200 and 100. Now I think I'm gonna have to. Oh wait, draw stars. There's a little thing right here. I think I have to. Wait, what is this? Draw stars. Let's do another var. So var x positions. I don't think I have to write all that out. Let's see, because this can just be moved up, down, left, right, blah, blah, all that. I'm just going to keep it at the height that it is right now. Var x position, wait a minute, var x positions equals, oh wait, actually, no, I'm not gonna, it didn't say to create a new variable, it said to add a comma to each one. Look at that comma. And then we have to put, we have to, let's see, put a new number in, like 100. Let's just try and do it this way. And let's do 200. Look at that. I just flip-flopped them. And now add stars on click. So now now we have to place x positions dot push, and then that y positions dot push, and then that, and then draw stars. So that's so I'm gonna have to do it before the draw stars gets called. So let's do it. So we're doing mouse clicked. So this is step 2. So mouse clicked. I think that's what. Yeah, clicked equal. Oh wait, equals. Mouse clicked equals function. Function. This that. Then that bracket. Then closing bracket. Semicolon. It shows up as nothing because we have to. Well, we have to. A couple lines there. So tab x positions dot push, and then that should be 100, I guess. I don't know. And then y positions. Let's just tab it. y positions dot push and then 200. What is this? What are you pushing into the X position array? You should be pushing the mouse X position using the mouse X variable. Mouse X? What? Let's restart. Okay, so there's nothing. So now what do we do? Well, we go back, we look at what they done. What? Oh, YouTube video. Okay, so expositions.push. Oh, so we're using mouse X and mouse Y. Should have known that. So move forward. Okay, so push. So now we're gonna use the mouse Y, but we're gonna use mouse X. So mouse X. What are you pushing? Now I'm using the mouse X variable. What do you mean? What are you pushing into X positions array? You should be pushing the mouse X position using the X mouse position. So it's, wait a minute, I think I confused it. So let's just do this. Let's do Y and then X. There we go. All steps complete. It doesn't show anything though, but that's okay. I think I have to put this outside of the little variable. Now that you pushed X and Y positions mouse into array, make sure to call the draw stars into your mouse clicked function. So draw stars. Boop, boop, boop. So now you figured out. So now we have done it. So congratulations. So we just click and click and click and to make more stars. Maybe some like right here, like, yeah, you can't like drag. You can drag, but you have to click off to do it. So let's just see. So that's cool. Now we're gonna review arrays and do the Make It Rain project. So the review, we often want to store lists of values when we're creating programs, and in JavaScript we can do that using a type of value called an array. To create an array, we declare a variable like we always do, but then we surround our list of values with square brackets and separate each value with a comma. Var expositions equals 33, 72, 64. We can store any sort of JavaScript value in an array, not just numbers. Here's an example. They give us an example. Var my friends Winston, Nosy, Nose Guy, John, and Sophia. We often want to display the length of an array or do something based on the length of an array. Thankfully, array has a dot length property that will tell us the current length of the array. This is just the beginning to the end of the thing. Like, so they're talking about the length of arrays. Where do we? That's that. And then if we go down more, it shows that we, let's see. We use the push method, which was at the end. That's pretty much what we did. We used that push thing. And then Annie, someone trouble with a single ellipse to my adding a single ellipse to my try putting those things. So can we make a 2D arrays in JavaScript? If so, how? One comment. It's easy. Var equals 1. What's this? So that's pretty funny. You know what? Okay, so its comments are asked for questions for. So there's example. So Buster the the dingo, dingo. Can someone explain to me what a splice is? And then it just goes on the example 2, 3. Learn more at that. I think that's probably one of the people who have that thing. But yeah, let's go on the project. Make it rain. I thought it was going to be cash, but no, it's not cash. So add more drops to the arrays. You can do that using a for loop and a random function at the beginning of the program, or using an array modification method during animation. You could even add more drops in response to the user in response to user interaction. Make the ring continuous. Change the position of each drop when it reaches one side of the canvas using a conditional or operator. And then there's two bonuses. Make an array of colors so that every drop is a different color, and array of speeds. And then bonus, make other things like rain, like snowflakes, using the more shapes commands, or avatars using the image commands. If you use multiple commands to draw whatever is raining down, consider creating a custom function with parameters instead. Work on your project for as long as you like, then click this button when you're done. So, spin-off. Spin-off of project, make it rain. So, let's, yeah, I am tired, but I don't care, because I'm finishing this live stream. So, we're finishing this project, and then I'm going to end stream, do whatever, and then take a shower, and then go to bed. That's literally what I have to do every night, but that's my routine. Okay, I'm going to mute my mic and do this. If you wanna just not, I'm not saying leave live stream. No, that's not what I'm saying. You can just do this spin-off project on your own, and then come back to this live stream once you done it. You can either pause it or mute it, whatever you want to do, and yeah. Wait, oh wait, yep. Okay, me and my mic. I forgot.
In the sea, communication is done by exchanging sounds and bubbles rather than words. It's an interesting occurrence.
I'm Legom. I'm a hen. Since we're seated in alphabetical order, this rather slow male wolf sits next to me. He always looks worried with his brows angled down. I secretly call him Sad Brows. I can't say Sad Brows and I are very well acquainted. However, I do have a
Sorry guys, I didn't know why that okay, I accidentally shut up and yeah, you could keep on doing this project, make it rain, and then we're gonna do objects, which is just intro objects, recipe card, modifying objects, array of objects.